sure, but, I mean, they got Mark Richt. They played good in their big games except 2, and they finished 10-3. Like, I don't know what more we would have wanted. Do we need them to do, like, a slow, like, they had to be 6-6, 8-4, 10-2, and then we would have been more believers of Miami? Because I was with you, but at the end of the season, it was a great year for the Hurricanes. Like, people said Miami's back, and they actually were when they swept and beat up on Notre Dame in that ABC game.
Okay,
Now, I'm gonna come in here because I think you're partially right, but you're partially wrong. Because Miami, I think, is going to take a step back because I think the talent overall in the ACC is probably better than what they got fortunate with how their schedule broke down last year. But that defense is still going to keep them in a couple of games. They play really well as a defensive unit, and defense is actually an extremely hard thing to come by, at least in my opinion, in college football, because the way I watch it, teams are just trying to run up scores. And when they run into a defense, it can almost alter a game. 8
teams in one conference in particular, yes.
I don't expect them to be as fortunate as they were last year, though.
All right. I agree. Let's see what else. One of the questions, is Virginia Tech going to be this college football's breakout team of the year? I think the answer is yes.
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 Don't they have I hate to put you on the spot like this, but don't they have I might have to look this up on my phone actually while we're speaking, the magic of technology in 2018. They have a tough match, I could have sworn in September against somebody, and they got to get by that team. And if they get by that team, they'll be really good. Let me check it real quick who it was. Oh, it was Florida State in the opener. They played Florida State on a Monday night opener. So if they get by Florida State, they're not going to get tested until Notre Dame. And then after that, as long as they can prep for the triple option of Georgia Tech, which is, I know Georgia Tech, they're not a great powerhouse, but the triple option is tough to prep on a week. They just got to get by Florida State. If they get by Florida State, yeah, they're going to be the surprise of the year.
All right. And last question I have before we get into some of the stats and facts. Will Louisville fall apart without their Mr. Do-It-All, or will they continue to have decent seasons?
By decent, I think we're saying, 8 to 9 win seasons?
I was even willing to say 7 or more.
I would say that Louisville's probably still an 8-win team because of Petrino. Petrino's good enough to coach to do that.
Okay. All right.
They'll find somebody random to do it. Wait, that's it? No Syracuse questions? What about my boy, Tommy DeVito?
Who's that?
Ouch.
I'm just going to say this about Syracuse, then we can really move on. But I'll say this. Tommy DeVito will be the breakout player of the ACC. And for those who don't know who Tommy DeVito is, Tommy DeVito is currently the backup redshirted freshman quarterback for Syracuse. This is how good he is. At the Elite 11 camp, which for those who don't know what the Elite 11 is, that's the top 11 quarterback prospects in the country come in and compete against one another. And it was Tua, I always forget how to say Tua's last name, silly, it is a college football kid. Tagovailoa, the big Hawaiian, as I call him on the show. So you got Tua from Alabama, you got Jake Fromm from Georgia, you got all these, I think Fields was a year younger, but you have all the top quarterbacks in that class, okay? The Elite 11 MVP, above Tua, above Fromm, was Tommy DeVito. And he kept his commitment to Syracuse. He went to Don Bosco Prep in New Jersey.
Oh, Don Bosco.
He went to a bunch of others. He became a 4 or 5-star. Yep. So he decided not to decommit from Syracuse, and he stayed in Syracuse. So think about that for a second. Arguably the best quarterback recruit in the country, according to evaluators, is playing at Syracuse. And he's sitting on the bench.
He could
so
have
he
that.
Play this season eventually.
He could have that mentality of, I want to be the best wherever I go, so I'm just going to go to the worst school I can think of. Syracuse it is.
Ouch.
Oh, don't worry. Don't do that.
Sorry, guys.
Eastern Carolina exists.
6-6.
All right.
Eastern Carolina's still a team, right?
Yes, I do know.
The Citadel's out there.
They're FCS, though. We're only counting FBS.
Oh. That's right. They all stink. 6-6 for the Orange. Orange Bowl 2019. Orange 13-0. Book it. You heard it here.
Wow. That's bold.
That's just bold.
That is tweet that out, Tony. Tweet that.
They gotta get by Western Michigan and Villanova first, though. went to Michigan first.
That's a loss right there, Wagner.
Friday, I'll be at that game, by the way. I need them to win that game.
All right. So the ACC, we're going to move on from Syracuse because from the moment I stepped foot on the Syracuse campus, I knew it was not a place I wanted to be. So.
They got yelled at quite a
snowing
bit.
in April?
No, it's just everyone.
Part of it.
Just everyone I ran into on my tour was an asshole. So I'm like, I'm out of here.
Oh, sorry. I told them I would have paid them more money if they did that. I'm sorry.
All right. So the ACC. Does anyone know how many players were drafted from the ACC this year in the NFL draft?
No.
69.
We wish, Goz. But it was 45. The ACC had 45 players drafted. Bradley Chubb, Tremaine Edmonds, Derwin James, who I think was the steal of the draft at 17, Jair Alexander, Terrell Edmonds, Lamar Jackson, Nyheim Hines, and Mark Walton were some of the more notable. Anyone from Syracuse get drafted?
I don't remember. Must have. Read all 45 and I'll tell you.
All 45. But those are some of the more notable names from the draft.
Although, I'll say this about the Syracuse draftees. Of the top, this is a true stat. Pro Football Hall of Famers, top 5 school is Syracuse with 9. It's a true stat.
Wow.
Interesting.
Is that going to show up on your trivia one of these days? I'm sure it does.
Don't forget, Across the Street Pub tomorrow starts a new round of trivia. Corona sponsored. There's my live read during the podcast.
What's the prize?
A prize is 90 minutes with Goz from 104.5 The Team. I don't know. I have no idea. The beer sponsors tell me when I get there.
It is a fun trivia. We've been going for the past.
I will go once my golf
weeks.
league ends. I will go with you. I do something else on.
Just go tomorrow. Tell him Danny's not invited. Just go tomorrow. Just hang out without him.
All right. So, guys, I have a list of players to watch, and I want to hear your thoughts on all of them. First is Ryan Finley, quarterback from NC State. Is he going to be the stud I expect him to be?
He is awesome. He, at times last season, I'm glad you know that name, because he, at times last season, seriously, could have been Lamar Jackson. Obviously, Lamar Jackson. You could have made an argument that he at NC State was the best quarterback in the conference. That's how good he looked some weeks. He was one of those guys who's like, dude, why are NFL teams not looking at this guy more? He is awesome. When he's good, he can like single hand. I won't say he's good as Phil Rivers because he went to NC State, but like he can win games on his own. If NC State actually could win some games and tackle somebody on defense, he is really, really good. So I'm glad you brought him up. Yes. I
really like him. A guy that's the next guy, cornerback from Duke, Mark Gilbert. I think he's going to be a lot of fun to watch. He's all over the field. He is crazy, uncontrolled, just chaos-type energy. And I expect that to continue.
Really good. Yeah, he's really good, but they won't throw his way. You're right. All those things you said are 100% right. But because you and I know about him and other people know about him, they will avoid him at all costs this season.
All right. The player that I expect to be the ACC Player of the Year, running back from Florida State, Cam Akers. How good is Cam Akers? I know he's sharing the duties, but I think he's going to win it outright this season. Last year as a freshman, he was great, not good. Great, not good. I think this year he hits the ground running, and I think he's the ACC Player of the Year.
I'm so glad I don't have to play football against Cam Akers because he is a guy who will get the ball and, like, someone's like, oh, I'll tackle him. He is so much faster than people ever realize when he gets the football. Like, it is almost laugh out loud funny when you look at defenders who don't get a step on Cam Akers and watch him on like a replay, and they're like, nah. You know, they look like JV football players like diving at a varsity kid's ankles. Like, he is so fast when he gets the ball. Akers is very good. I'm going to give you my pick, and I don't know, maybe he was another player watching him. There's a guy named A.J. Dillon at Boston College who's their running back. Yeah, like Andre Williams, he might put up 2,000 yards. Now, he's probably a better running back than Andre Williams. Like, pure running back. They had another guy named, oh my God, I know his name was Rouse. He's a Central New York kid. I want to say his name is Tyler Rouse. I'm just forgetting his first name. I think it's Tyler Rouse, but he's like 5'8". He had a good season for them, too. But A.J. Dillon, I think, is my pick to win the ACC Player of the Year.
Oh.
That's who I was going with as well. He really came on and exploded at the end of last year. And you give him a full year to do that, he could be dangerous.
He is good. I just think Cam Akers is going to make people forget about how good Dalvin Cook was at Florida State.
That's going to be difficult.
That's what I think he's going to do.
Dalvin Cook. Quickly, like a quick rant about Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook, that year, I think it was 2016, I'm still stunned he didn't get more love for the Heisman. I voted for him third that year. For my list, it went Lamar Jackson, Baker Mayfield, and Dalvin Cook. And you can read my article, it's on 145 team still. Like, every big game, Dalvin Cook needed to have a big game. He had a big game.
Every game he had a big game.
He played good against Clemson. He played good against UCF. Like, Dalvin Cook was really good. I still don't like it. Dalvin Cook was really good his rookie year for the Vikings. I don't get why Dalvin Cook didn't get more love that final year at Florida State. Like, he was so good in all the big games. And I don't know if because he's not a quarterback. I don't know if Florida State wasn't good enough. But I get what you're saying. Like, Dalvin Cook was really good at Florida State, though. He's the all-time leading rusher, man. He better put on some highlights if you're going to jump over Dalvin Cook.
Right. Kelly Bryant, we've already touched on. We don't need to talk about him anymore. Probably the most underrated player, in my opinion. And I know people don't watch Wake Forest very much, but Wake Forest wide receiver Greg Dortch, burner. So good. He's going to be a great pro. I'm excited to watch
Can
him.
someone get in the ball? Is Wake Forest's cornerback good enough to get it to him? Like, Wake Forest wins games down in the ACC, which I don't like, because those should be Syracuse games. You know this is a true stat about the ACC. You know Wake Forest has won an ACC championship before Miami?
Miami's never won an ACC championship.
Wake Forest, I think, won before a bunch of teams.
They won it when they had Riley Skinner and John Abadi on the team. I think that was back in 2007.
Yeah.
I'm also just going to throw out there that I'm a little sour that Syracuse is in the ACC because it means the death of the greatest basketball conference that ever existed, college-wise.
The Big East, baby.
Yes, back when we had Syracuse, you had UConn, Georgetown.
Cincinnati.
The nights I would stay up watching overtime basketball games growing up between UConn and Syracuse in the middle of Madison Square Garden for like the Big East semifinal.
Made me miss a final.
Oh, so good.
Or a midterm. Made me miss a midterm.
Those days.
Yeah.
The
So
best, man. Alfonso Smith, by the way, is another guy who was on that Wake Forest. I had him as a guest a few years ago. He's another good quarterback. Got to run up the lines a little bit. But you're right, man. So, yeah, Syracuse leading the Big East with stuff. You know what? Is like you just said there, it broke up the Big East. But as a Syracuse fan, although they've only been to 3 bowl games, I think, since they went over to the ACC, they've been to 2 pinstripes and a Texas Bowl. I'm glad they're not UConn. You know what I mean? Like, UConn got left out. Like, UConn.
Oh, they got the raw end of the deal. They got the raw end of the deal and left behind. You guys are at least being in the ACC. It allows you to like the basketball program has always been on the mantle that it is, but being in the ACC allows you to further grow the legacy that was Syracuse football back into where it should be. UConn is kind of left holding the bag in almost both sports if it wasn't for Sabaz Napier and that angry UConn team. Hopefully Hurley can turn that around for them, but there's almost no hope for that football team to grow.
that's my big problem with Central Florida not, going undefeated and all that. The fact that half of the teams in the American Conference were part of the Big East, who was a BCS conference. Why did they lose that clout, that stature? I really don't think the conference should have. But
You know why they lost it, though? I'll tell you why, because that's a really good point you just made there. And just back to your point quickly about UConn. Like, UConn and Boston College aren't that much different. I get Boston College just in Boston. Like, it's a bigger market. But, like, Boston College was going 8-4 consistently and 9-3, making ACC title games. They may have actually won an ACC title game one year with Matt Ryan. But they, couldn't get over the hump. But that could have been UConn for, that whole time period. They could have been recruiting the same type of players and stuff. Because UConn, they got to a BCS bowl game in one of those couple years in the Big East before Cincinnati got to a couple with Brian Kelly. But what you're saying about that is that's what the interesting thing about why the ACC is making money, because let's remember how far the ACC stretches. It now stretches from Syracuse, New York to Tallahassee,